Okay, so things you need to know about this test. First off, on the review, these are not the exact answers. These are not the same numbers, and a lot of times I change the wording on the questions. Okay, so it's not, when I tell you to study, I'm not telling you to study the answers. I'm telling you to study how we got that answer. You need to know how to solve the problem, not just what the answer is. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going to work through this together. Hopefully, if you're watching this at home, you still have your test review. But in any case, let's go ahead and start. Number 1, which of the following sets of numbers is ordered from least to greatest? Alright, on A, we have 1/3, we have 0.35, 31%, and -3/10. Alright, when we're going to put things in order, what's our strategy? Change everything to percent. Now, in this one, we want to go from least to greatest. Now, what is our smallest right off the bat? -3/10. It's got a negative here. That negative means it's the smallest. Well, if we're going from least to greatest, our smallest wouldn't be at the end. So, that's not our answer. Alright, on B, we've got 32%, 1/3, 0.62, and 7/10. Now, 32% is already in percent form. 1/3, you should know, 33.3 repeating percent. On 0.62, we move our decimal 2 times to the right, we get 62%. And finally, what's 7/10 as a percentage? 70%. Least to greatest?
Yes.
Alright, so B is probably our answer. Alright, just to check, next we have 0.4, which is 40%, followed by 1/3, which is 33.33%. Already we've got a larger number out in front, so C is out. D starts with -3/10. I don't even need to convert it because it's the only negative, so we know that's the smallest. Then you got 15%. Then you have 1/2, which is 50%. And 0.25, which is 25%. It worked all the way up till this last one ruined it. Alright, so B was our answer. Any questions on that one? Alright. Number 2, I'll tell you right now, all of these answers are actually wrong because I changed the numbers. But we can go ahead and eliminate some of them right off the bat. Okay. It says a researcher measured approximately 0.05123 grams of bacteria in a sample. How is this number expressed in scientific notation? Now, first off, what 2 answers can I go ahead and take off right now?
F and H.
I would say H and J. Why can I take H and J off right now?
Because they're negatives. There's no.
It's a negative number.
It's going to be a negative. Oh, yeah. Whatever.
We've got H is 5123 times 10.
There's no non-zero numbers on the left.
Do they have the decimal in the right place?
Alright. Alright. We're supposed to have one non-zero number to the left of the decimal. Right here we have 4. Right here we have none. Alright. So H and J are out. Alright. That leaves us with F and G. Now what kind of number is this?
The negative.
It's a smaller number, which means we're going to have a negative exponent, which means I can cross out F. G is my answer. Now, in this particular case, G should have said 5.123 times 10 to the negative second. Alright, it says negative third because I changed the numbers but not the answer choices. That's my bad. Number 3, which value is between 1/2 and 3/4? Again, we're going to change everything to percents. So, what's 1/2 as a percentage?
50%.
And what's 3/4 as a percentage?
75%.
Alright, we need to come in between these two. Alright, first number we have is 7/8. That's 7 divided by 8. 8 goes into... Do what?
I think that's 8.
Alright, well let's look. Close. 0.875 or 87.5%. Does that fall in between?
No.
Nope, so that doesn't work. Alright, A is out. Alright, next we have 40%. Does 40% come in between those two? Nope, that one was easy. Next you have 2/3. What is 2/3 as a percentage?
66.6.
Does that come in between?
Yes.
It sure does. So that's probably our answer. Right now C looks good. Alright, just to check, we'll look at D. D is 5/6. 6 goes into 5 8 times. And then we're going to get 3 repeating. Alright, that's going to be 83.3 repeating percent, which is too large. So C was our answer. Any questions on that one? Alright, number 4. A microscopic cell measures 3.8 times 10 to the -5th. What is this number in standard notation? So we've got 3.8 and we're moving our decimal how many times? -5 or 5 times to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 0.0000038. My answer is F. Questions? Alright, you guys have been pretty good at scientific notation. Now, number 5 is one of the top missed questions. Alright, you can see down at the bottom on the answer choices they have scientific notation. What they give us is 2,400 times 10,000. Alright, and they want to know how to write this in scientific notation. Well, first thing we got to do is figure out what 2,400 times 10,000 is. Alright? Well, what is 10,000 as a power of 10? 10 to the what?
10 to the 30th power.
30th? No. Nope.
Fourth power.
4th. We have 4 zeros, so it's 10 to the 4th. If you did 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, you would get 10,000. Alright? So now we've got 2,400 times 10 to the 4th. So, how many times am I moving my decimal?
3 times.
How many times am I moving my decimal?
4 times.
4 times to the right. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. I get the original 2,400 with 4 more zeros. So, 24 million is the number I end up with. Is everybody with me so far? We just multiplied those out. Now, if I have 24 million, what's the furthest left non-zero number?
2.
2. That goes in front of the decimal, followed by my 4. Times 10. Here's where we moved our decimal. How many times did we move it?
7.
7 times. C is our answer then. That one is missed a lot. Okay. Alright, number 6. Miss Nevin is making a costume for a school play. She needs a piece of fabric that is greater than 1/2. of a yard but less than 5/8 of a yard. Which length of fabric listed below could she use? Alright, so we need to change these into percentages. Now, 1/2 is 50%. We should know that already. 5/8. 8 goes into 56 times. Goes into 20 twice. And we get 0.625. Or 62.5%. Alright, so we need to figure out which one of these numbers comes in between 50% and 62.5%. Alright, so we have 3/8. That's 3 divided by 8. 8 goes into 30 3 times. Alright. It goes into 67 times. Doesn't matter what the other number is, it's going to be a 5, but it's already going to be 37 point something percent. Is that big enough? No, we needed something greater than 50. So that one's out right away. Alright. We have 4/7, that's 4 divided by 7. 7 goes into 45 times. It goes into 7 times. We can stop right here because it's going to be 57 point something percent. Does that come in between? Yes, it does. So G is most likely our answer. But just to make sure we didn't mess up, 3 divided by 7. 7 goes into 34 times. It goes into 20 twice. We've got 42 point something percent. That's too small. And finally we have 2/4, which is just 50%. It falls right here but not in between. So G was our answer there. Does everybody see how we're doing this? You've got to change everything to percents. Once you do that, they're very easy to compare. Alright. The next page, use a calculator to help you place the following in order from least to greatest. That's 95%, 2 squared, 3, and 2 3/5. Now, we don't need a calculator because we're just that good. Alright, so, again, we're going to change all of these into percents. Luckily for us, 95% is done for us. Next, we have 2 squared. What does 2 squared equal to? 4. And what is 4 as a percent? 400%. What is 3 as a percent? 300%. Now we got 2 3/5. Alright, well that's 200, and then we got to say, okay, 3 divided by 5 is 0.6, so that's 260%. I kind of ran a room there. Alright, so question says we're going from least to greatest. What's the smallest? 95%. I will tell you the common mistake on this is people try to do it in their heads and they say that 95% is the largest number. 95% is by far the smallest number. Okay, it's not even a whole yet. Next, we have 260%. That's the next largest, which was 2 3/5. Then 300%, which was just 3, and the largest was the 2 squared. Everybody see how that worked? Okay. Alright, number 8 is the most missed question because it is a pretty difficult question. Alright? It's one of the harder questions you get all year. So, make sure you're paying attention to what it's asking. Holly wanted to measure the length and width of her room. She did not have a ruler or a yardstick, but she had 2 sheets of cardboard. One sheet was 154 square inches. The other was 132 square inches. If she used the side of a square to approximate 1 foot, which square would be the better choice? So, if I were to draw this in a picture, she's got this box that is 154 square inches. Square inches is talking about area. She's got a second box that's 132 square inches. Now, She wants to know which one of these has a side length that would be closest to 1 foot. Okay, so what I would do is I would say, well, what if there's another box? This is the perfect box. This is the box that would be ideal. What would the side length of the perfect box be? What is she trying to get? A side that is closest to what? 1 foot. So what, if I made a perfect square, what would the side length of it be? 12 inches. Alright? So, if I have 12 inches on all sides, then what's the area of that square?
1/4.
Okay. So now, looking at all these boxes, the white box here, it's the perfect square. These are the two squares that she has. Which one of them, let's say A or B, is closest to the perfect square, the perfect box? Alright, how far away is B from 144? 12 away. How far is 154 from 144?
12.
So which one is closest to the ideal square?
A.
A is closer. 154 is going to give us a closer estimate to 12 inches. Alright. Number 9, Meredith worked on some math problems at the library. She needed to select a statement that was true. Which of these statements should she have selected? So we want to find one that's true. All right, we have 50 times 10 to the 6 is less than 5 times 10 to the 7th. All right, so let's go ahead and solve these out. If I've got times 10 to the 6th, I'm moving my decimal 6 times to the right. So I'm going to have a 5 and 0, and then 6 more zeros. That gives me 50 million. If on another one, I'm going to move my decimal 7 times to the right, which is going to give me 7 zeros. So is 50 million less than 50 million? No, they are the same number. So A is not true. On B, you've got 12 million is equal to 1.2 times 10 to the 7th. Well, 1.2, we're going to move our decimal 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. It gives me 1 and 2 and then 6 zeros. So is that true? Is 12 million equal to 12 million? Yes, it is. So B is most likely our answer. Right. But, just for fun, 2 times 10 to the 3rd, what does that equal to? 2,000. 2,000 is equal to 20,000. That is not true. Alright? 7.4 times 10 to the 5th. I move my decimal to the right 5 times and I get 740,000 is greater than, I move my decimal 6 times to the right and I get 740,000. These are equal to each other, not greater than, so B is our answer. Questions on that one? Okay. Number 10. For 4 days, students measured and recorded the change of the water depth in a pond. They measured the following changes in depth. Alright, Monday was negative 0.3. Tuesday was 1/4. Wednesday was 0.01. And Thursday was 1/5. Alright, so how do I compare these? What do I need to do? Change them to percent. I've got negative 30%. I've got 25%. I've got 1%. And then 1 over 5 turns into 0.2 or 20%. Alright, so we're going from least to greatest. So which one of these is the smallest?
The negative 0.3.
Yeah, negative 0.3 or Monday. That is the smallest because it's the only negative. Alright. The next one? Wednesday because it's 1%. Next? Thursday. And the last one in is Tuesday. Alright. If you're going to answer this question like this right here, make sure you put this H right there. Last year I had to count about 6 people's wrong because they put MWTT. I don't know which one's Tuesday or Thursday. You got to clarify it for me. So, if it's Thursday, you need to put that H there. Okay? Okay, number 11. Alright. This question is actually missed quite a bit, and I think it's kind of easy.
It's good. Lots of distance is the answer.
Because I removed all the answer choices. It says, what rational number would best represent point A? Alright? Well, what two numbers is it going to come in between?
3 and 2, or negative 3 and negative 2.
Negative 2 and negative 3. Which means what whole number is going to be at the front of this number?
2.
Negative 2 is going to be your first part of this number. Alright? And then what do you think the rational number is to get from this whole number to the A? To get from here to here.
75.
Alright, so negative 2.75. Maybe you could say negative 2 3/4. Alright. Most common answer I get is negative 3.25. Because they see the negative 3 and then they go up 0.25, but that's backwards. Okay? So don't get that twisted. Questions on that? Alright. Alright, last page. Number 12. Use a calculator to compare or order the numbers below from least to greatest. We're not going to use a calculator because we're awesome. Got 1 2/3. 48 over 25. 1.71. And then negative 9 over 4. Alright. I need to change them into percentages to compare. So I have 166%, or it's 166.6 repeating percent. So, like that. We got 48 over 25. That's 48 divided by 25. That gives me 1.9 or 192%. Alright. Then we have 1.71, which is just 171%. And the last one, I don't even need to change it because it's a negative. So, what is my smallest number? Negative 9 over 4 is obviously the smallest. It's the only negative. No need to change it to a percentage because we can look at it and tell right away it's the smallest. What's the next smallest? Yeah, 166.6 repeating percent, which is 1 2/3. Next, 171% or 1.71, which just leaves us with the 48 over 25. There you go. No calculator needed. How about that? Alright, 13. Javier and his 3 friends were solving some math riddles. Jessica thought her answer of 22 over 7 was the smallest. Javier thought his answer of 3.154 was the smallest. Which one was the smallest. Okay, so first, how many times will 7 go into 22?
3.
3 times, and that leaves us with the remainder of 1/7, right? So, if I say 1 divided by 7, and that's going to keep on going, but I'm going to get 3.14 something something. Alright, which one is actually the smallest? 3.14 something 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 or 3.154? Well, if you can't tell and you change them to percent, you get 315%, 314%. 314 is smaller, and so 22 over 7 is actually the smaller number. Alright. Last question. The 8th grade class was given various numbers to determine the length of mystery lines during a math lesson. They were required to first estimate which mystery line amount would be the least in length to the greatest in length. Afterwards, they had to draw each line to scale. Compare and order these numbers below from greatest to least to determine the correct order for the mystery lines. The great thing about this question is everything I just read does not matter except for one line. Compare and order these numbers from greatest to least. All the rest of it is pointless details that we don't need to know about. All we need to know is that they want us to compare from greatest to least. So, I've got 2.54. I've got 3 1/10. Negative 7 over 4. And 9 over 4. Alright, well, that's 254%. That's 310%. I'm not even going to convert negative 7/4 because it's the only negative. And then we have, oh, I'm sorry, that's 9 over 4, not 9 over 2. Alright, so 9 divided by 4. Gives me, that's not right, sorry. Gives me 2.25 or 225%. Now, we are going from the greatest to the least. What's the greatest percentage that I have here? 310% or 3 1/10. Next, 254% or 2.54. Then we have 225%, which is 9 over 4. And then the last one was obviously the negative 7 over 4, which is clearly the smallest. Guys, that's the entire test. Alright, so make sure you study.